Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Kitty Cat, and we are back with another video. So as you can tell, I have my tea. So you already know if I have the tea, it's gonna be a story time video. So I hope you grabbed your tea and your snacks, your drinks, your water, whatever you need. So this story is kind of different, I guess. The stories I tell normally, there's a lot of drama. It's just always, you know, something petty or crazy or some kind of fiasco. But this story, it's a lot more about faith. When I think about faith, I think about Jesus or the universe. But faith is just believing that things are going to be okay and that things are going to work out. It was the first time that I realized that the universe had my back. Oh my gosh, y'all, I'm kind of hot. I don't know if I can keep this sweater on for long, honey. I had to take off that sweater. I was just too hot. It's literally summertime now. So, like, what was I thinking? Getting this hot tea or in that hot sweater. The story kind of starts when college ended for me. I wanted to become a flight attendant. Graduated from college, did not get on with the airline of my dreams. I was super crushed. At that time, I was working right next to a Mac counter. I was working for Sunglass Hut. I had worked next to this Mac counter for 2 years, and like they just kind of brought me into makeup. And the people at the Mac counter, they knew that I didn't get the flight attendant job that I wanted, and I was just like literally so crushed. It's so different getting rejected from a job that you really want. The manager at Mac, she was like, hey, you're really starting to get good at makeup. You should try to go get a job somewhere, you know, working beauty retail, and then in 6 months, come apply to Mac. So that became my new goal. Any chance I got, I would try to, you know, do makeup on the weekends, have people come to my job so I could do their makeup. Any opportunity that I could do somebody's makeup, I did it. So Mac had this hiring fair kind of, it was like a casting call. But basically, you would just take your resume. I brought a portfolio because, you know, I want to be over the top. I had a verbal interview with them, and I think they were digging me, you know. So they were like, hey, can you come back tomorrow and do a makeup interview? And I was like, oh my God, of course, duh, sure. So I came back the next day, did the makeup interview, and they decided not to go with me. They decided to go with someone else. They were only looking for like one person. So they decided not to go with me. And you know, as soon as I got to my car in the parking lot, I cried because I was like, what the f? I got rejected for being a flight attendant 6 months ago, and now I'm trying this new thing. Like, what the heck is going on? Like, am I on the right path? Am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? Like, should I stop doing makeup? Because when things like that happen, you're like, well, dang, like, you know, is this a sign for me to keep going, or is this a sign for me to give up? I decided to keep going. I said, you know what, Kitty Cat, you've only been doing makeup for 6 months. A lot of people that are applying to Mac, they've been doing makeup for years. You need to humble yourself, and you need to just keep practicing. You need to get better at time, you need to get better at technique, and you're gonna eventually get there. So I reevaluated, and I thought to myself, I need to work on XYZ, but also I should probably try to get into some kind of department store and try to get that experience. Because a lot of Macs are in department stores. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go apply. Interviewed with a couple different brands. And finally, I landed Clinique. Right in between, right before I went to Clinique and right after I left that other beauty job, Mac had sent me an email and they were saying, hey, would you want to come in and do another makeup interview? And this was like a couple months later. And so I said, of course. So I did the makeup interview again and I passed it. They were trying to offer me a freelance position, and a freelance position at Mac, it's not guaranteed hours. And you know, I'm a post-college grad. I got student debt. So I was like, unfortunately, like that's just not going to work for my life. Like I have to have a full-time job. Like I'd love to have a part-time job, but my bills say no. They said, okay, that's all right. We completely understand. When we have something full-time that opens up, we'll let you know. So I ended up working at Clinique while I was waiting for Mac to call me. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go work at Clinique in the meantime until they call me because I really want that experience. I'm working at Clinique, and I'm working at this particular location that used to be poppin'. Like this location used to be like a really, really popular mall. The mall that I was working at, they changed the rules. They basically were making people pay for parking, and so that completely changed the traffic of people going to the mall. So when I started working at this counter, it was just so slow. Like it was just completely like there's nobody to sell to. You know what I mean? Like there's literally nobody here. Although I was learning a lot more about makeup and how to sell it and ingredients, and I was starting to get restless, and I was starting to feel like, gosh, am I making the right decisions? You know, am I wasting my talents? Like, should I just go get a 9 to 5? Like, what am I doing? Like, I just felt completely lost. So all these months had gone by, and like Max still never called me. And I just assumed that they forgot. I was like, you know what? Oh well, like I just assumed that they forgot about me. I don't know. And on this one particular night, my mom asking me like, so what's your game plan? Oh, you went to college. Like, why are you like chasing all this like retail jobs? Like, why are you doing this? Like, you literally have a degree and you're like wanting to work in retail. Like, I understand you love to do makeup. And I was like, no, mom, like I want to work for Mac and these are my goals and blah, blah, blah. My mom was like, well, girl, like, you know, at some point, maybe you might have to get another job, you know, to pay your bills better. And so I had just had it. I was like up to my limits. I was just like so bored at the location. I loved Clinique, but I was so bored. I was so restless. You know, I was feeling really lost in my life of just like, what am I doing? What's the next step? Am I on the right path? Kind of all those societal things, just all that stuff just was like bottling up inside me. So after my mom and I got into that conversation, I remember I was driving on the highway. It was summertime. It was raining crazy bad. I was just crying. I was crying so hard. And it's so dramatic, like a movie. I'm like hydroplaning on the highway. I'm crying and I'm like, I'm asking God for help. I was like, you know what? I'm going to ask God for help. And like, because I'm literally I'm at the end of my rope. Just kind of felt very hopeless. I kind of felt like I've tried everything in my power. I'm just like crying, talking to Jesus. Basically, I asked Jesus to take the wheel. I said, you know what? Like I literally cannot put any more energy into this anymore. Like I can't put any more effort into this anymore. Like I've done everything that I can do. And like, I'm over it. So, let me tell y'all. I asked for a sign, right? I said I really need a sign that things are gonna be okay. Literally the next day, not even 24 hours later, I get a voicemail. And it was somebody who works higher up in Mac. I get a voicemail from them. And they're like, hey Kat, it's so-and-so from Mac. We finally have a full-time position that's available. It's at XYZ location. We just need you to go interview over there just to make sure that, you know, they like you. I mean, you're approved, of course, with Mac, but you just, you know, since you're going to be like at a different retailer, you know, we just need to make sure that you vibe well over there. And I was like, oh my gosh, are you serious? I was like, oh my gosh, like Jesus listened to me. Somebody was listening to me, whether it was Jesus, the universe, somebody was listening to me. My prayer was literally answered. God is good. All the time. Okay, I get it. I go to the interview and they say, why should we hire you? I started to tell them that I had been wanting to work for Mac for a long time and that like I have a true passion for beauty and helping others. I also started to talk about my college experience because at that time it hadn't been that long since I was out of school. We get to the end of the interview and she says, okay, I know you're here for Mac and that's great, girl. That's great. I know you're here for Mac, but there's this other position that's open, this management position here. It wouldn't be with Mac. It would be with like this retailer, this company. We think that you'd be great at it. And then I was just like shook. She said the words big girl job. She said, this is a real big girl job. And that was all I needed to hear. I slept on it, of course. I slept on it. But then I woke up the next day and I was like, you know what? I really want to work for Mac. Like I've been wanting to do this for such a long time. However, like I'm getting this other opportunity that's a big opportunity for me, like something that's completely different, something that I didn't even think was an option. It's just kind of like when you ask Jesus for something and you ask him for something small, like he's trying to give you something bigger and better than you had even thought. Because it was a management position, this jump in pay can really help change my life financially. Benefits, just like, you know, the whole big girl job thing, you know? I was like, you know what? Like, I think I'm gonna take it. And that's what I did. I was just thinking of that story in my head. I was just thinking of like, oh my gosh, like I've come such a long way since that happened. I grew up in a faith-based house. So like I always knew Jesus was there. But I asked God for stuff like, God, please give me this present I want for my birthday. You know, petty stuff like that. But I never had like asked Jesus for something like so like, yo, I need this. I need you to come through for me. For it to happen that fast, to get a result within less than 24 hours, it just showed me Jesus has my back. The universe has my back, my angels, my spirit guides. The universe is rooting for me. Jesus is rooting for me. And now, like, it's just like, you got to have that faith. That's basically why I wanted to share this story. Is it's just about faith. It doesn't have to be about Jesus or, you know, whatever, if that's not what you believe. But like, I think having faith and just believing that things are going to be okay and things are going to work out, and that, you know, you weren't brought here on earth just to have a life. I mean, yeah, if you had karma, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Life can really get us down sometimes. We've all been there. And I just wanted to share this story as like a testimony, I suppose. Jesus is listening. The universe is listening. And that all you have to do is ask. Closed mouths don't get fed. And you know what? When you ask, you shall receive. Well, I hope that you enjoyed this story time. Have you ever had a story like this happen in your life where you asked for something from Jesus or the universe or whoever you believe in and you got it? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end. Don't forget to like this video, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.